Willow's paws moved steadily along a winding dirt road, leaving behind the bustling riverside city. A soft breeze rustled tall grasses that lined the path, and each step felt lighter than the last. Over the past few days, he had grown more mature and daring, picking up lessons from the old dog and the dockside cats. Their guidance made him believe he could handle whatever lay beyond the city's edge. Now, with his short yellow fur gleaming in the afternoon sun, Willow gazed at the rolling hills ahead. The scents drifting across the wind were different here. Fresh hay, wildflowers, and the faint aroma of livestock. He couldn't help but sniff eagerly, curiosity tugging him forward. The road opened up onto a peaceful vista, an old farmhouse surrounded by fields, with a sprawling barn and chicken coops. Even from a distance, Willow heard the soft lowing of cows and the quiet clucking of hens. This new place felt welcoming, and though a flicker of uncertainty remained in his heart, his whiskers twitched with anticipation of what the farm might hold. As Willow approached, the late-day sun cast long, golden rays across the barnyard. He slipped under a wooden fence, belly low, scanning for signs of danger. A barn cat, sleek and confident, stalked across the dirt, a plump mouse caught in her jaws. She paused upon spotting the newcomer, her tail flicking in a mix of caution and curiosity. Willow froze, whiskers quivering, but the barn cat merely dropped her catch and meowed a brief greeting. It wasn't hostile or dismissive, just a quick, matter-of-fact acknowledgement. "You're here, and that's fine." Encouraged, Willow took a tentative step closer. That's when a few other farm cats emerged from behind barrels and beneath wagons, their eyes reflecting the same mix of wariness and intrigue. He felt exposed but not threatened. Instead of hisses or growls, he received silent stares as though they were evaluating him. Remembering the lessons from the city, Willow made sure not to bare his claws or rush forward. A gentle flick of his tail signaled peaceful intent. Slowly, the barn cats relaxed, going back to their tasks. One of them even pushed a stray bit of food in his direction. With dusk settling in, Willow found himself inside the warm barn. The scent of straw and fresh milk enveloped him like a gentle embrace, reminding him of simpler comforts he had longed for since his days struggling in the alley. Several cats lounged on bales of hay, grooming or dozing after a day of roaming the fields. A striped tabby, clearly a leader, or at least the most confident, came forward, nose twitching as she studied Willow. He maintained a respectful crouch, remembering how much first impressions mattered among fellow strays. To his relief, the tabby gave a single nod, then guided him deeper into the barn, where a corner of soft, dry hay lay waiting. Willow understood this as an unspoken invitation. "Rest here if you like." Gratitude surged within him. It had been so long since he felt welcomed. He settled down, every muscle still on alert, but the presence of other friendly felines lulled him into a feeling of safety. He realized how far he had come, from trembling in an alley to cautiously sharing space with an entire community. Morning arrived with the soft clucking of hens and the low murmur of cows. Sunlight streamed through gaps in the barn walls, casting warm patterns across Willow's yellow fur. He awoke to find a small circle of farm cats already bustling about, grooming and stretching, preparing for their day. A large calico, purring gently, nudged Willow's flank as if to say, "You can join us." Outside, a farmhand was pouring fresh milk into shallow dishes for the cats, a daily routine that made Willow's mouth water. He followed the others, still unsure if he was truly allowed, but the calico gestured him forward with a reassuring flick of her tail. Lapping at the milk, Willow felt pure gratitude, no scrounging through trash or begging for scraps here. Even the other cats seemed to treat him with acceptance, a camaraderie rooted in shared living. Every bowl was filled, so no one fought over food. This sense of abundance felt foreign to Willow, who was used to daily uncertainty. He began to understand why some cats chose a stable life rather than constant wandering. With a satisfied belly, Willow ventured outside to explore the vast farmland. The fields extended endlessly, dotted with patches of wildflowers and tall grasses swaying under the morning sun. He spotted a few barn cats deftly chasing mice near the fence line, while others basked in sunny spots, tails flicking contentedly. A tabby climbed a wooden post for a better vantage point, expertly surveying the land. Willow recalled his own hard-won lessons from the city. Stealth, agility, quick thinking. and realized how those skills could help him thrive here too. His fur prickled with excitement as he crouched low and practiced stalking a cricket buzzing in the grass. Each step was deliberate, a quiet echo of the techniques he had once used to snatch scraps or dodge danger. The chirping insect leapt away at the last second, sending him into a playful tumble. Unfazed, Willow sprang up, heart pounding with that same childish glee he'd felt at the dock whenever he discovered something new. The other cats glanced over, a few flicking their ears in amusement at his enthusiasm. Later that day, Willow joined a group of farm cats patrolling the outer perimeter of the fields. Their goal was to keep watch for potential threats, like foxes or stray dogs, and guard against any vermin that might raid the chicken coop. The older, more experienced cats showed him how to detect subtle scents in the wind and identify paw prints in the dirt. At first, Willow stumbled over these new techniques, but his quick learning instincts kicked in. By observing carefully, he caught on to where the barn cats paused, how they moved silently through tall grass, and which vantage points offered the best line of sight. Midway through the patrol, a sudden rustling in the hedge startled Willow. His ears flattened, recalling how easily he used to spook at the slightest noise. But this time, the tabby leader signaled for calm. They all crouched low, inching closer. A harmless rabbit bolted into view, disappearing in a blink. The cats relaxed. Willow's pulse raced with excitement rather than dread, a sign of how much he'd grown since his first nights alone in the city alleys. After patrol, the group returned to the barnyard, where a warm breeze carried the comforting smell of fresh hay. A couple of kittens, smaller than Willow once was, scampered around, pouncing on each other's tails. Their carefree antics reminded Willow of how daunting the world seemed before he met the old dog or found acceptance among strangers. Noticing Willow's curious gaze, the calico gently nudged one playful kitten toward him. The kitten mewed, batting at Willow's tail in greeting, and Willow responded with a soft purr. This was a different side of life, one filled with communal warmth and support. In the dim corners of Willow's memory, he recalled that first moment of being left behind. Yet here, no one was abandoned. The entire farm felt like a living, breathing family, each cat contributing something to the whole. For a brief second, Willow imagined staying forever, safe and well-fed, never again fearing starvation or loneliness. He wondered if he had finally found a place where he truly belonged. The thought lingered, tugging at his heart. That evening, Willow curled up in the loft, surrounded by the gentle purrs of the farm cats settling down for the night. The golden sunset filtered through cracks in the old wooden walls, casting soft beams across the barn. Every muscle in Willow's body unwound, soothed by the warm presence of friends and the steady rhythm of farm life. Yet as he began to drift to sleep, a faint feeling of restlessness bubbled beneath his contentment. The memory of the river city lights, the roar of boat horns, and the thrill of crossing that grand stone bridge fluttered in his mind. He recalled how each step of his journey, though fraught with challenges, had expanded his horizons in ways he never anticipated. Now, with a full stomach and the soft chatter of cats lulling him towards slumber, part of him still longed for what lay beyond these fields. He remembered the old dog who encouraged him to be brave, and the lively dock where people and animals mingled in constant motion. Would settling here mean turning his back on all the wonders yet to be discovered? As dawn broke the next day, Willow helped the other cats with their usual duties, chasing away mice from the grain store and watching over the chicken coop. He marveled at how seamlessly he had adapted, darting through tall grass without a sound, leaping onto fences with newfound agility. With each small success, the other farm cats offered approving purrs, reinforcing that he was welcome here. By midday, a sense of routine had settled, and Willow realized he'd hardly worried about where his next meal would come from. Nonetheless, as he gazed across the fields toward the distant hills, his heart stirred. A traveler's spirit, nurtured by the hardships and triumphs of city life, refused to remain quiet. There was so much more beyond these fences: mysterious forests, bustling towns, maybe even grander bridges. The memory of his own reflection in the river's water, the feeling of stepping foot into unknown territory, all called to him. He thought of how the cats in the city taught him to trust, and the farm cats now taught him belonging. Perhaps there were more lessons waiting out there in the wider world. That evening, the tabby leader led Willow to a vantage point overlooking the entire farm, the barn roof, accessible by a series of wooden beams and hay bales. Together, they surveyed the sunset painting the sky in brilliant pinks and oranges. Below them, the farm cats went about their twilight routines, gathering for a shared meal of leftovers from the farmhouse. The tabby turned to Willow, her gaze understanding. It was as though she sensed his internal tug-of-war. He had found comfort and friendship here, but his eyes remained fixed on that wide horizon. With a soft meow, the tabby gently brushed her head against Willow's shoulder, an invitation to stay, or perhaps an acknowledgement that his spirit might lead him onward. Willow closed his eyes, purring in gratitude for the acceptance and safety he'd been granted. But when he opened them again, they glimmered with the faint promise of more adventures. Tomorrow, he would decide whether to rest his weary paws in this place of plenty or continue down the dirt road in search of the next chapter of his grand journey.